This is the heart of darkness. The Congo, a primeval realm shrouded in mystery. But for those who belong here, the forest holds no terror. It is protector and provider. It is a paradise where life has evolved to strange extremes, and where an ancient people has found haven. Enter the heart of the Congo. Like a long finger thrust deep into Africa, the Congo points the way to the heart of the continent. Here there endures a latter-day Eden for life in myriad form. In this evolutionary outpost, nature has forged bonds, elaborate as they are extraordinary. The fates of countless species are tightly woven in a biodiverse web. This is a world apart. In the wake of giants, a space is cleared. In honor of the excavators, the Aka call these waterholes elephant villages. Life is long for the gray parrot. They may live to 80 years. They can echo human speech with uncanny mastery. What draws them to Earth are the swamp plants, whose muddy roots contain vital minerals and nutrients. The bulk of their diet comes from above. True forest connoisseurs, greys are picky eaters, choosing only buds, young shoots, and fruit. The forest yields not just food, but also protection for the shy bongo antelope. In the open, nature's camouflage looks extravagant. But the lovely striped coat blends in well when set among the dimly lit tree trunks. Traveling in close-knit family groups, bongos cover vast expanses in their search for fallen fruit and leaves. Others let their food find them. Inside a tree hollow, a hornbill male has sequestered his mate. Here, within their nest, she and their young are protected, but they're also imprisoned. For weeks, they depend on his frequent visits to eat. The Aka turn to the rainforest for protection and provision, but they can ill afford to wait on its gifts. Their villages are temporary, set up in a day or two, and seldom lasting more than a month. There are perhaps 30 in this hunting band. Several families work together so that all may prosper. There's time enough for life's pleasures. The Aka's decorations are forest fashions. In this case, necklaces braided from swamp grass. When the women have gathered most of the nuts and fruit around their camp, the group simply picks up and moves on. First, though, there's one more test the site must be put to. Into the forest the men draw in search of game. As long as their hunts are rewarded, they'll stay in the area. A band's range may cover more than several hundred square kilometers, its borders defined by rivers and hills. In the rainforest, having a territory can be tantamount to having a livelihood. Living in enormous colonies, weaver ants mark their property with a singular scent. Like a well-organized construction crew, the insects move in concert to build their intricate homes. The foundation is a bent leaf. While some ants clamp the edges together with their jaws and legs, others secure it with a sort of ant cement, a sticky goo made of chewed plant parts and saliva. Even the larvae participate in the creation of their own nest. They produce the silken thread which is used to bind wide gaps in the structure. Like weavers with a shuttle, the worker ants pass the spinning larvae back and forth across the opening. So dense is their fabric that the finished wall will be watertight. The endless waters of this sodden land present a challenge for many. An ingenious method for crossing a swollen rivulet. A bridge built on self-sacrifice. Stretching their legs wide, hundreds of driver ants spread across the surface of the water, forming a living conduit with their bodies. The rest of their troop then march over them. In this way, they scour the forest far and wide. They are on a mission, hunting down snakes, insects, birds, rats, and mice they will devour whole. Numbering in the millions, the entire army may take nearly 24 hours to pass. But sometimes disaster strikes. Migrating elephants broke this bridge. A clump of ants were carried away by the stream. To survive, they've bunched together in an ant island. Individuals take turns being on the bottom, virtually guaranteeing that none will drown. Those underneath may be the lucky ones. Direct sunlight can kill driver ants. Eventually, they will drift to a bank and file ashore. Or they may be swept up in another sudden turn. Life here weathers the whims of the rainy season. Over 165 centimeters of rain fall every year. Torrential downpours are a daily trial. The waters gather, swelling to fill the banks of the second longest river on Earth, the Congo. To withstand the onslaught, creatures go to great lengths. Termites aren't ones to confront the fierce rains. They escape them. They keep their burrow from being flooded by putting up the insect equivalent of shingles. Other species turn the rains to their advantage. Some tree frogs lay their eggs in a foam-like mass in the boughs of their home. Only when the tropical torrents are unleashed are the eggs washed into the water below, where they'll hatch. The colorful markings of a tree frog send signals to friends and enemies alike. A female frog might jump at this male's invitation. But the display also warns predators away from a potentially poisonous meal. This is a world where the unwary may pay a high price. This ant has become the unwitting host to a parasite. Spores infiltrated its bloodstream, multiplied within it, and consumed its body. The fungus has already fruited, and soon it will spread the grounds below with its seeds, only to infest more unsuspecting victims. Insidious dangers stalk the forest floor. At 23 centimeters long, the bird spider is the world's largest spider. It can even tackle mice. Draping the trees overhead are sprawling communal webs, woven by its cousins. The formidable traps are strong enough to hold almost any flying insect. A snare of a different sort holds this fleet. These butterflies are willingly held by an ambrosial brew, which they suck up through their feet. Elephant urine is the nectar they crave. The butterflies are a telltale sign that a herd has passed this way. The forest elephant rules the Congo. At less than 2.5 meters tall, a third the height of its savanna cousin, it has earned the nickname the pygmy elephant. Elephants were once a staple in the Aka diet. A large cow could feed an entire band for days. But then, the Western craving for ivory infected the Aka. No longer did they hunt the animal for meat, but for its tusks. No longer were the herds carefully culled. That restraint was abandoned for the desire for cash. The resulting carnage was devastating. Despite a worldwide ban on ivory, the population of forest elephants has dwindled to around 60,000. And still, poaching persists. For today, at least, the hunt is for game. And the game remains elusive. If no monkeys appear soon, the men will have to find a new site for their band's camp. There's no turning home yet, as long as their colobus skin bags are empty. The sharp cry of the crowned eagle catches their ear. Perhaps the bird has spotted some monkeys from above. To find out, a hunter calls in the monkey's own language. An alarmed response echoes from the trees. They are out of range and must be lured closer. Once again, the hunter uses the voices of the forest to trick them. On a hollowed-out nut, he imitates the cry of a crowned eagle. The monkeys flee from the treetops to the waiting hunters. The arrows are tipped in a bark-based poison which causes cardiac arrest. A hit. Entangled in vines, the monkey must be retrieved. As the one who made the kill, this hunter will receive the best portion for himself and his family. The rest will be divided among the other members of his band according to need. Living in harmony, both among themselves and in the forest as a whole, the Aka seem to be a remnant of paradise lost. But a serpent has come into their garden, one more lethal than any native viper. That intruder is human encroachment, logging companies that are plowing a path of destruction through the rainforest. Mahogany and limba, an age-old forest that covers over half the country, is under siege. International hunger for this pristine wood drives bulldozers ever deeper into the heart of the Aka's territory. Their roar sounds a death knell for both the virgin forest and those who depend on it. With their habitat demolished, Many Aka retreat to the villages of their Bantu neighbors. TB, mumps, and leprosy, diseases against which the Aka have no defenses, are rampant. Sand flea infestation is the blight of a sedentary lifestyle. Alcohol now takes its toll on those who abuse it, on their children as well. And yet, some prefer the amenities of a modern lifestyle. The West need no longer fear the heart of darkness. Those tables have turned. The Aka culture is being cut down, one tree at a time. The truth is, soon, the only music that may be heard in the Congo could be the grating clang of the chainsaw. The forest can hardly protect its people when it is in danger. What song can the Aka sing to awaken their world now?